Lyft and Uber leaving Texas, and details on Nvidia's new 10 series GPUs. This and more. I'm Lance Uppercut with Tech Gaming Today. Starting off in tech today, if you live in Austin, Texas, you are no longer able to use Lyft and Uber transport services. Starting on Monday, May 9th, 2016, Lyft and Uber will be shutting down in Austin after 56% of voters voted against Lyft and Uber's campaign for Proposition 1. The $8.6 million campaign funded by Lyft and Uber was to remove fingerprints for background checks for drivers who worked for ride-hailing app companies like Uber and Lyft. My question to you guys is this: do you think that this is something that Uber and Lyft should have done, or should they have just bit the bullet and start giving their drivers a little bit more thorough background checks? We've seen in the last few years multiple incidents where Uber drivers and passengers alike have had altercations, whether the assaults are sexual or physical. Would you prefer to have your driver with a criminal record, or would you rather have these ride-hailing companies give background checks to these employers that might have your life in their hands? I think Uber and Lyft should just spin this around to their favor and give an option. For example, let's say Uber XXL. They already have Uber X, where you can be picked up in an economy vehicle. They also have Uber XL, where you can get picked up in an SUV. I really do think that this would be an option that would make a lot more people happy, and they can also market this towards their favor. I'm interested in what you guys have to say. Leave a comment down below. In what would be considered tech and gaming news, on May 6, 2016, Nvidia finally revealed their 1080 and 1070 GeForce GTX graphics cards, and the company had a lot to say about their new babies. The GPUs are officially named the 1080 and the 1070. The 1080 will have 8GB of RAM at GDDR5X. The 1070 will be at 8GB GDDR5. The 1080 will have 2,560 CUDA cores. The specifications for the 1070 have not been released yet. However, it's predicted that it might be at about 2,048 CUDA cores. The 1080 is at 2.1 GHz overclocked and will also have 7 teraflops. The 1070 will have 6.5 teraflops. Both cards will have 5 display outputs, including 3 DisplayPort 1.4s, 1 HDMI 2.0 port, and 1 DVI port. The cards will also have new SLI HB bridges. The bridges will only be available with Pascal-based cards. The vapor chambers have been redesigned to output more heat, and it looks pretty freaking cool. Pricing for the 1080 reference card starts at $599 US, and for the 1070 reference card, it's at $379 US. Overall, the best in show is obviously the 1080 with overall beast-type specs. However, the 1070 is no slouch itself. It is the best bang for your buck, and it's the most inexpensive route at this moment if you want to go VR. Another interesting thing to note is that both cards are faster than not one, but 2 GTX 980s, which makes me just a little bit upset because I bought a 980 and I was planning to go SLI so I can do VR, but it looks like that's out of the picture. But that's not all. Both cards are faster than the $1,000 Titan X. The 1080 reference card will be released on May 27th, and the 1070 will be released on June 10th. In gaming today, if you're not living under a rock, we have a quick reminder for you. Uncharted 4 will be released on May 10th. What might be considered one of the best third-person action-adventure shooters, created by Naughty Dog, the team behind Crash Bandicoot, The Last of Us, Jack and Dexter, and the Uncharted series. If you haven't played any of the Uncharted games, first off, I suggest you play it, but think of it like this. It's basically a really corny action-adventure movies from the 80s and 90s, except for it's really fun. That's the best way that I could put it for you. It has robust gameplay, phenomenal graphics for a console, and an online community that is the best that I've ever seen in a video game. You'll definitely have a lot of hours and hours of fun. Unfortunately, the game will only be available on the PS4. The collector's edition is $119 US, and the regular edition is $59.99 US. If you've never played any of the Uncharted series, I highly suggest you take a look at the Uncharted collection. I'll leave a link for you at the description below. It's at about $30 right now, and it's all the games that they've released so far, 1 through 3, all remastered in 1080p at 60 frames per second. Do yourself a favor, if you have not played this game, buy the Uncharted remastered version. I believe I saw it on Amazon for $30. I'll leave a link for you at the description below. YouTube, that does it for today's news. If you like what you hear, give us a thumbs up, and if you want to hear more tech and gaming news daily, hit that subscribe button. This is your host Lance Uppercut with Tech Gaming Today, reminding you to reset your routers. We'll see you tomorrow.